Don helped me by asking the right questions, by caring, made me feel comfortable that he didn't have any other agenda other than to see what it was that I was trying to accomplish, where I was, and how he can help me get there.
I'll keep pulling you forward towards everything it is that you say you want. That's my commitment to you. I have this journal. I've always been a journaler, and if I open up to May 28th, 2004, that's almost 20 years ago. I won't read all this, but somebody had told me 20 years ago that the 40s were really good years. I'm 46 and a half. For 6.5 years, I've been asking, when will it begin for me? Now I'm living in a $2 million house. I'm making 7 digits, at least part of the time. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got 3 beautiful daughters. We're taking fancy trips all over the place and driving nice cars and living a really good life. But I'm just running harder and harder. And I'm looking at, how am I going to keep this going? How am I going to keep making more and more and more? Which is what I had in my head that I needed to be doing. And then, of course, bad decisions, missteps along the way that took me back. And then I run harder to go forward again. And, the easy word is just struggle. Man, I can remember being in Disney World and, waiting in line at Space Mountain and, cell phone in my ear. And I didn't even experience the ride, got off at the other end and took off in a dead run, with another client on the phone again. I just succeed my way out of my problems. That's the way I summarize it all. And finally, I've told this story before, and I have a picture in my head. As I like to say, I was standing and about 2:00 in the afternoon, a nice sunny afternoon. I'm standing in front of my very nice desk in my very nice study in my very nice home, and I said, "You stupid SOB, you're going to run out of time." I mean, I'm in my early 50s at that point, and a light went off. I mean, there were some things that led up to it, but a light bulb just went off. I just made a decision right then and there that I'm not doing this anymore. And I don't have to prove anything to myself or anybody else. I'm just giving that up. It really was a surrender. It was a time to stop trying to go it alone. And we sold that fancy house and we paid off all our debts. This is when I had started my own business and cash flow was not good. Big lifestyle and not a lot of income. And just downsized and rented a place that I would have been embarrassed. I mean, my ego would not have let me done that before. But I made a decision within myself. And then my family and I made some changes. And we just got to a cozy place that felt really good and worked really, really well. That decision was a lot more than sell the big house and move into a little house. That was a decision to change my life. I didn't get it all right at the moment. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not doing this anymore. And this was pretty good on balance. But it was just, I was tired. I was tired of fighting and running. And I just knew there was a better way. I just knew there had to be. So I opted in without knowing how to get there or what it really looked like. And then I started making forward movement. I started taking new steps. Look at your story. Look at the 25% that's not working. Look at the part of your life, your world, that's not what you want it to be. I mean, I'm thinking about people that I work with that have successful businesses, but they're running so hard. They've got so much that they're just struggling with. They can't take advantage of the opportunities that they have in front of them. They have kids that they're worried about. They have relationships that aren't working. Their own thinking is sort of driving them crazy, definitely stressing them out. They live with a lot of stress, very full schedules. Those are examples of the kinds of things that aren't working, that aren't what we really want. I'm into grace. See, I believe we can have it all. And we can have success and money and business and career without the grind, without the stress. That we can show up as the most positive force possible for our kids and for what we would want for them. But we don't always know how to do that, or whatever we're trying to do, if we think we know how to do, is not really working. We got to decide to step back and change. We've got to decide without knowing how. You see, if we wait to figure out how to decide, that's exactly what's got you stuck. That's why 75% is really good, 25%, if you slow down and really ask yourself and be honest, is not that good. Well, gosh, I don't really know what to do about this. If I did, I'd already done it. I guess I'll just run harder at the 75%. I mean, that's exactly what everybody does. It's only just about everybody I've ever met in my life. Here's an exercise for you. This is kind of simple, but really deep. If you'll do it right, if you'll slow down, if you go inside, if you get in your heart, just get in a quiet place. Just be real. Be honest with yourself. What are the things that you'd like more of? What are the things that would just get you excited to get out of bed in the morning? That would just fill you up? And take 30 minutes or an hour. Just free form write. Just get a pad and just start letting those things come out. Just write them down. Write about them a little bit. Just get them out in front of you. I'll bet you can find 6 or 8 or 10 pretty fast. Now on the next piece of paper, and if you're really slowed down, like I want you to be really slowed down with this, maybe that's another day. First day was pretty good. Found a lot of things that, yeah, if I want to just dream big for a minute, if I want to daydream a little bit, more of these would be really good. The next leg of this exercise is to let out, come up with those things you'd like less of. And they go hand in hand. There's some overlap there, but what are the things you'd like less of? Less conflict, less stress, whatever it is. So now you started to get a little bit of a bead on what you would change if you knew how. And I'm going to say it again. I hope you're doing this without thinking about how you can or if you can. Just what would it be? So now here's the third page. What would it mean to have those things? This is where you want to really feel what it would mean to you. What would it mean to your health, your peace, your family, your joy, your money, your wealth, your career? What would it mean if there was really a way to create these things that you'd really like? What would that be like? What would that feel like? And then next you come to the part that's a little bit of leap of faith. Now you've got to decide. And you can decide to just keep on going by default, just sort of playing it out the way you have been, and you let all those chips fall where they may. And that's okay, 75% or some big piece of your life is really good. And if you want to drag around the 25% that's not, that's okay. It's choice. It's a choice. So you can opt for that, or you could decide, like I did, you could decide, hey, I'm going to at least commit to considering, to looking at how I could create these things I'm looking for, how I can really get that other 25% lined up. And I can tell you there is such leverage in that. You have no idea. So I'm asking if you might want to commit to figuring out, let's call it getting ready to be ready. Maybe you want to commit to a phase, a stage, some time, some weeks, some months to get ready to be ready, to start figuring out, well, what would that really be like? Well, how would I go about that? Well, the first part is just acquiring new knowledge. You're really committing to acquire new knowledge, to understand things that you don't really know about right now. And that's reading some books. If you want to go to my website, I've got probably 60 blog posts, like little 2-page articles on a whole bunch of different things. That's donscottcoach.com. So, you can go and look at any of that stuff you like. And there are a ton of really good books that can just help get your thinking going. I can tell you it's a process. There's sort of 5 levels, the way I look at it, to transformation. And that's really what you're deciding. I'm going to transform parts of my life, business, career that aren't working, parts of me that aren't working. I'm going to transform those. I'm going to decide now to get ready to be ready, and I'm going to move towards opting into that transformation process. And that is acquiring knowledge, it's reading and so forth, it's understanding, and then it's practice. It's actually doing some things. And then it's experience. Words don't teach. Experience teaches. So we acquire some new knowledge. We try out some new things. We feel differently. People react to us differently. We're making decisions that we wouldn't have made before. I have people say to me all the time, clients, well, the old me would have done this. The new me is looking at it this way. I didn't tell them to call themselves old me, new me. They start doing that. They're transforming. They are changing how they be in the world, how they walk through life. They're changing their experience of life. And then everything outside of them is just blossoming. I mean, I sound like I'm trying to paint some rosy story. It is a rosy story. I don't mean everything is like all at once, 10x, but I see people double their businesses. I see relationships that were struggling begin to get better. People are able to take steps that they either couldn't see before or didn't have the courage to do before or didn't know how to do before. But all that starts to work itself out. That's the easy part. The 5th level of this little framework that I'm sharing is knowing. acquire knowledge, information, understanding, practice, experience becomes knowing. I know now that as I continue this work, I am transforming who I am. I am able to take something that used to really bother me and have it not bother me, or not bother me so much. That's what I want for you, but you have to decide to get ready to be ready.